Good evening, lamb chops. It is I, your favorite fluffy vampire Bluma. Y'all ready for the next sad chapter? I am. Hello, Muffin. Hello, Antimatter. Hello, Mango. Yeah. Dude, we're like halfway through this book. How can everything will work out fine. I mean, they always have, right? Out of the first two books, everything went fine, right? Once we got to the end, everything got resolved. It was such a happy ending. The die of fate had cast. Reporting to a public agency, which we'd kept being warned could instead result in something far worse for Satoko if we didn't have the evidence first. And just like that. Had I failed? Had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment? Maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion, since she had already been relatively calm. I remembered the punishment game, where we had to badmouth Curry, and how we were saying anything that could make it worse, and Satoko told us to leave the talking to her. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to lament it. The die I had thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen. Keiichi-kun, you did everything you could, so leave it to the teachers now, okay? Everything I could? If I really gave it everything I had, if I had really struggled, I would have dragged Satoko out of her home last night and hidden her in some abandoned house. I didn't, so that means I didn't do everything I could. Stop thinking about it, alright? You're being a little too persistent, Keiichi-kun. At this rate, you'll collapse. Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene and solve everything within the day? Would they acknowledge the abuse and guarantee her safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study. The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Since I came trotting back to the classroom. I'm really sorry for all the phone calls recently. Let's call it a day. President, please lead the class. Everybody stand up. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation and passionately explained it to the other person. At the end, the Child Consultation Center, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her to safety. Sensei understood that as well, and as us. And that's why she looks so unreliable right now. Kei-chan, let's go home. I don't think anyone feels like having club today. Mi-chan, it's no fun if someone's not here. Reina was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we would have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself that all I can do is pray now that the dice had been cast. Just in case they didn't get her to safety and decided to wait and see again. I'd need to take further measures. We've asked the people who could do something official already. Then, there's one more place that was worth asking for help. She might laugh it off. Or I might be right, and I could be endangering my own life. But I'd try. Oh, Mion, is it okay if I stop by your place today? You've got a lot of manga, right? I want to borrow a bunch. Huh? Sure, I guess. There was an ominous meaning behind those words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something, alone. That's what I meant. Mi-chan, Keiichi-kun, let's go home. Marina already had her shoes on and was waving for us from the schoolyard. Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was vaguely old-fashioned, traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or the plot of land, was enormous. It easily convinced me that there was a really major landowners within Hinamizawa under their thumb. Mion brought me through the guest room, and a servant brought us some tea. Wow. You really are rich, huh? You even got housekeepers? Grandma and I are the only ones who live here. I wouldn't be able to do everything myself. The servant left, telling us that it was 5 o'clock, and then withdrew with soft footsteps. We have people who come in here and take care of Grandma and clean up 2 or 3 times a week. They come in rotations of 3 or 4, so there's someone here almost every day. Only until evening, though. Oh, and if you're having a party or something where you need more help, we'll call in different people. If you had the money to hire all these people, then just take Satoko in. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately. Oh, sorry. It's fine. I know it's not a money problem. Just to be clear, my family may be rich, but it's not money that I can use freely for myself, okay? I don't want you to misunderstand that. Mion's place looks like that home from Summer Wars. It kind of does. It kind of does. I think it's way bigger, though. But I also haven't seen Summer Wars in a few years. It kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately. So, what's up? You had something you wanted to talk about, right? I have something pretty serious to discuss with Mion. This will be sudden. You might be surprised, but I want you to hear me out. Huh? What? Oh, I'll give you a way out first. Even if what I say is true, you don't need to admit it. You're allowed to play dumb. But I want you to listen until the end. I have something to say to the next leader of what's still the most important of the 3 families of the Onikakushi village, Mion Tomozaki. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted. Where did you hear that? It doesn't really matter. I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to. And please forgive me. This is why I asked you about it after all. I was surprised that you'd heard it out of the Onikakushi village, Kei-chan. But you seem to know a lot of things, both true and false, about me, too. Damn, the soundtrack's really hitting you in the Kokoro. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. True and false. I really might have the wrong impression here, but I'm okay with that, so listen. And if it's really true... I don't know what you're getting at, Kei-chan, but let me say this beforehand. You've got a big misunderstanding. So if it were possible, I wouldn't want to hear what you're about to say. Because even if you said it, I can't do anything to help. Still, if talking about it will lighten the burden even a little, I'll listen. I'm only just going to listen. Nothing more will happen. You okay with that? Yeah. Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd be talking about. She warned me about doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Somozaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that have been occurring every year here in Hinamizawa. You know that stuff about Yashiro-sama's curse, right? Mion nodded. No one knows what it is or why it happens. Even in each incident is solved, the string of deaths and accidents as a whole is still a mystery. But there's one thing connecting them all, and that's how the targets are always enemies of the village. Seems like it. Mion spoke as if it didn't relate to her, and that was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen. The misunderstanding is that Shion's gonna be the next leader? Oh boy. The day after tomorrow. It's Watsunagashi, isn't it? Has the sacrifice for this year's curse been decided already? Mion didn't answer. Her expression remained the same, too. Like she said, she was just gonna quietly listen. Sorry. The promise was that you'd just listen, so it's weird for me to ask a question, huh? Mion gave me a look as if she'd never given me before. A faraway look. A sympathetic one. She didn't nod, she just smiled faintly and listened. If this year's curse isn't gonna be on Satoko's uncle, then please change it to him. I mean, last year it was her aunt, right? It's in the right order, so it wouldn't be weird. You're right, it seems like there is an order. I mean, after her aunt died in the curse last year, he abandoned Satoko and fled to town for a whole year. Why wouldn't a guy like that definitely be on Yashiro-sama's list? There shouldn't be an issue with choosing him this year. I see. If he were to die from the curse this year, no one would see anything unusual about it. I heard that Yashiro-sama's curse is, well, no matter how you looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I could continue. No matter how I tried, the words wouldn't come out. The string of freak deaths in Hinamizawa, also called Yashiro-sama's curse. You're saying they're incidents perpetrated by the village, carried out by the three families of the Sonozaki's instructions. Is that it? I don't care one bit whether you have anything to do with it. I'm just saying, if you have any way of communicating with whoever decides the targets of the curse, then I just want you to tell them to choose Satoko's uncle. Please. Everything you've been saying has been terrible. If the freak death incidents in Hinamizawa were carried out of the will of the Sonozaki family, that would mean the main culprit would be me, wouldn't it? I would have chosen the target of the curse, given the instructions, killed many people, and gotten rid of the others. You're calling me a murderer, Kei-chan? I didn't say that. Didn't you listen to me? I don't care whether you're the one behind the murders or not, I just don't. Even if you were the culprit, it doesn't change the fact you're my friend. It doesn't matter at all. And if the police were chasing you, I'd come help. I'd make an alibi and even help you escape. Because we're friends and comrades. Aren't we? Mion looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded. Now you're declaring yourself my complicit. Kei-chan, that's pretty bold of you. Come on, don't interrupt. This is Satoko's uncle. Choose him for... Stop. Right there, Kei-chan. I want to start on dinner soon, so I'd like to leave things at this. Mion! I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. They slid down my chin and fell, drip-drop, to the tatami mat. It's like I said from the start. You've got a big misunderstanding. But Yashiro-sama's curse is just that. Even if there were people behind those incidents, they didn't have anything to do with the Sonozaki family, or me. Right. I understand that, it's just... It was touching to hear your desperate plea though, Kei-chan. But that was all it was. Even if I wanted to help, I can't. You understand that too, right? Yeah. Keiichi just painted that big red target on his own back? Maybe. But, Mion doesn't have anything to do with the serial deaths, you know? So maybe he's fine. Get a sip. And now I know how you feel so well it hurts. Yet. Yet. Fine for now. Thanks for the info. Yet. It'd be nice if she was just saying this for plausible deniability. What? You guys think... What? You think Mion's the murderer? Come on. But now I know... Okay. But now I know how you feel so well it hurts. If I really were, like you said, the one controlling the 3 families and choosing the sacrifices every year, I'd probably grant your wish. Mion! But the reality is different. I'm just Mion Sonozaki. My family may have been the subject of all sorts of bad rumors about controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows, but we have nothing to do with the freak death incidents. We may have been a little extreme during the dam war, but that's all. We would never do something so insane as to kill people. Don't say such sad things. Miona, she's an angel with a shotgun, fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I mean, what? Right now, at least, I don't care. Why can't you just be nice and lie to me? Kei-chan, you're free to believe what you'd like. If I lied to you now, you'd be convinced Satoko would be freed the night after tomorrow, and you'd be able to shed so much of your burden. That was the same way you asked if I thought Shion was the same person as me. Press X to doubt, yeah. Concerned. However, reality is harsh. Satoko's uncle will survive beyond that day. He'd still be alive next week and the week after that. You need to prepare yourself for that. I don't want you coming to me the day after Watsunagashi and demanding to know why he wasn't killed. Mion. Mion stood up slowly and closing the sliding door to keep out the wind that had grown chilly. Was it Mio-san? Did she give you all those ideas? She really likes to misunderstand things about Hinamizawa. Well, we can let her have her fun. But I don't really want her influencing you, Kei-chan. Jeez. This is why outsiders are no good. Takano-san had nothing to do with this. Right, yeah. Don't worry. Even though I know she told you about it, Kei-chan, nothing's gonna happen. It's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse. Besides, we don't even know for sure if the curse will happen this year. Maybe it was all just a pile of unfortunate coincidences. It was weird, needed to reload the chat. Yeah, bro. Chat picks weird times to just not work, I swear. Thanks for listening. If you aren't connected to the serial deaths and all that, then that must have been a really uncomfortable conversation. I apologize. I see. You'll apologize for it. Takano's gonna die. What? No, she said she was fine. It was gonna be fine. Who knows? Maybe the deaths won't even happen this year. Who knows? What if it was just a coincidence that it happened 4 years in a row? Come on, guys. Come on. I'm sure it's fine. Takano gonna die and Keiichi's gonna go missing. Yeon said she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said she had a meeting or something today about the Sunday's Watsunagashi festival, so there would be a ton of people from town council and the festival committee coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say. If there's a God in heaven, then he probably understands how strongly you feel. Yeah. I'm really sorry for being so weird today. You can pretend like the discussion never happened if you want. Okay. I'll forget about it. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. You dropped your cap, mistress. Yeah, thank you. I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that Takano-san had told me at least it wasn't a complete fabrication. You dropped this. It's just, yeah, that was pretty good. Mio was really, really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips, and I wanted to think that that was proof. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Satoko's uncle. I was the only one talking that whole time. Man, that is a sentence I feel like it's just so Higurashi. It's like, I went to my best friend's house, called her a murderer, and then asked her to kill my other friend's uncle. Myung quietly listened to everything I had to say, like a pastor listening to a confession. She could have gotten angry partway through, told me off, and then went to wash her face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. Was that proof that Myung's family, the Somozakis, were the masterminds? Or was it just listening because she felt sorry for me going kind of crazy? I don't know which it was, but it was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance. Should the worst come to worst, and the public agency decided to wait and see. It was completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Sensei said that if she reported the child consultation center, they'd have to respond on the same day. Could they already be in the middle of responding by now? If Satoko came to school tomorrow morning, all energetic, then everything would be just a needless fear. Went to my best friend's place, called her a serial killer, didn't elaborate, left. Yeah, hashtag relatable. And what's your question, Rutsu? What's your question? Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? That night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get to sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Satoko, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tasted the end of the nightmare, enjoying the night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon. Good morning, Keiichi-kun. Morning. Thank goodness. I thought you overslept today, too. Your mom said you'd be gone ahead yesterday, and then you weren't at school. I was worried that you had gotten heat stroke halfway there. Is Higurashi prohibited in Japan? No, it's not. That night is unusually hot. Miwin Blythe. Oh my god, yes, Miwin Blythe. Oh. Bitch, I couldn't sleep. I had me riled up. Sorry, wrong game. Yeah, I'm really sorry for all the worry I caused you yesterday. Hey, good morning. Mi-chan, good morning. Just asking for a friend? Mm-mm. Wow, no, I think, like, in Japan, like, it's actually, like, really loved and supported. Like, it's a... how you say? It's not like Naruto, right? But it is, like, the fans there really, really like it, and it's not, like, a small thing either. Especially with how many years it ran. Bro. I think it's done now, but, like... Because I know, like, the last season of anime came out last year, I want to say. So, but I think that was the final season. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty big in Japan. People really like it. The fans are pretty diehard about it. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mi-chan, good morning. Wow, you really stink of liquor. You'll get found out for sure. Oh, right. Wasn't there a big business meeting with all the people in town council yesterday? They only called it that. It was more like a party. We have the festival every year, right? We wouldn't have any annoying meetings at this point. Are you gonna help out with the festival this afternoon, then? Yep. I have to do a meet and greet with all sorts of people in Grandma's place. Besides, they already started setting up for the festival. Our morning conversation was lighthearted as usual. It looked like Mion had thankfully forgotten about how I barged into her house yesterday with all that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I felt like I had really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless, and it wouldn't have been weird if she'd yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. To think that our comrade and our friend Mion, the young leader of the Sonozakis, one of the 3 families effectively controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents. It was a little unbelievable. But if there was even 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. Yes, it was no more than a 1 in 100. But that little bit of effort might have brought the chances of saving Satoko up even a tiny bit. At least I'd made that effort. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it was probably just to clap my hands and pray that Satoko's uncle would be killed by the curse. I hope Satoko makes it today. Me too. Sensei is doing things for her, right? I'm sure it'll be fine. My aunt is a welfare agent in Hinamizawa district. I gave her a call last night. Huh? I didn't know your aunt was a welfare officer. What happened? Did you tell her about Satoko-chan? Yep. Chie-sensei called the Child Consultation Center right after we talked to her. A child welfare officer apparently visited before the night was over. My aunt said that they were going to pay visits at regular intervals from now on. Enough with the dumb and little stuff. I want to know what happened to Satoko. Did they get her to safety? My aunt wasn't that informed about it. I was supposed to keep it a secret anyway. Her telling me this was a big breach of ethics in the first place. Damn, that makes me feel even worse. Let's get to school. Right. Discussing this more would just make me feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Satoko was safe or not. The 3 of us nodded and ran off. Was Satoko safe? What measures had the Child Consultation Center taken? I didn't care what. As long as we could go back to our peaceful life with Satoko today, it didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks in the entrance, Rina took a peek at Satoko's shoe cubby. Satoko's shoes are here! They're here! Hey! Kei-chan, Satoko came. Thank goodness. We don't know if anything happened just because she came to school. We can't know anything until we see her face. We trotted towards the classroom. The classroom was lively, as it was usually in the morning. Satoko, where are you? Me. She's right here. It's too early in the morning to be so loud. Would you please keep it down a bit? Satoko-chan, are you okay? All of our friends crowded around Satoko excitedly. Our probation officer came, right? How did it go? Who was it that called them? I swear, it was quite a mess, you know. It was the teacher. You were absent for so long, of course she was worried. Satoko said, I told you I'm fine, under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own. Satoko, my favorite gremlin! I feel that. It was a big bother to both me and my uncle. That person just barged in on us suddenly. Jeez. Everyone was worried about you, Satoko. Don't say it was a bother. Ah, jeez. Anyway, what happened? Nothing happened. My cold got the better, so I came back to school, and that's all. I can't take too much time off from now on because you all worry about me. What was Satoko saying? What happened to, well, your uncle? Oh, he admitted that there were some misunderstandings and we both apologized. Rika-chan grabbed the back of my collar and pulled me away. What is it, Rika-chan? Rika-chan silently dragged me away into the hallway. Rika-chan, what did that mean? My favorite gremlin is Bluma. Aw, shucks, thanks. Satoko said nothing was happening and chased them away. That idiot! But why? No, somewhere in my mind I thought it might turn out like this. Satoko didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to ride out this pain. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need him to hide behind him anymore. But Coach said probation officers can't bring her to safety in emergency, even if it's against her wishes. However much Satoko denies the abuse, it's a fact. Chie-sensei finally came. Her expression was far from cheerful. Yes, you're right, Maibara-kun. If the child welfare officer determines that it's an emergency, then they have the right to immediately take them to safety, regardless of the affected party's intent. Then why? Why is Satoko intent being respected so much? It's weird. Why don't they put her into safety? Well, after the person in charge at the Child Consultation Center looked into it from many angles, they determined... What the hell is that? Sensei, didn't you say it was going to be alright, since you were definitely going to save her? What's the meaning of this? This doesn't make any sense. Answer me, damn it! Ichi. This is actually the third time someone has reported Satoko's child abuse. It happened twice in the past, too. Rude-san. Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway. Twice before? I heard they decided to wait and see after reporting it to the winter before last, but it happened before that, too. Satoko's father, who died, wasn't her real father. What? Rika-chan, that's... What? I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so I couldn't get a word in either. Satoko's mother remarried. She brought Satoko and Satoshi with her, so they weren't related by blood to their father. Satoshi was a good kid, one who listened politely to the adults that told him. He immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But Satoko was different. She was rebellious, she told lies, she played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like that at all. What? So, what do you mean? Even before she was given to their uncle and his wife, Satoko didn't have a very good relationship with her family. Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent to the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him. But the young Satoko didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather, and never opened her heart, even just a little. She just got on his nerves all the time, with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course, but that too faded quickly. Hi, Jose, welcome in. I don't know because I wasn't in Hinamizawa at the time, but I learned this on the phone yesterday. What story did you hear, Sensei? That Satoko-chan wanted to trick her parents, especially her stepfather, so she inflicted wounds on herself so she could make up a false story about abuse, and that she had sent out an SOS herself. She made up a story about hurting herself? Satoko made a fake phone call to try and get rid of the father that she hated. Child welfare officers rushed there and heard the story. Her father genuinely apologized for her a few times when he had gone too far and agreed to let the child welfare center give him coaching. Related agencies looked into it quite a bit. They determined that Satoko-chan and her stepfather's hearts not being quite matched up was the cause of the incident. But they found another problem above that, with Satoko-chan. A problem with Satoko? What was it? Satoko's mother. There were a few times where she had lived with the de facto husbands, though those relationships didn't result in a remarriage. From a young age, Satoko had been forced to call at least 2 or 3 people her father. At some point, Satoko's pranks escalated. She would spill food on purpose, turn over her plate, even throw it. She would break the windows in the neighborhood and shoplift candy. She would put thumbtacks everywhere and set other traps to seriously hurt people. Not in the way she did now, just to get laughs. She was also fond of telling lies that would be found out right away, and people got mad at her every time. But she never ever changed her behavior. Please don't think Satoko-chan was a problem child. Satoko-chan was young. It was an act of self-defense that she had to take against the unknown men her mother had chosen. In regards to Satoko's problematic behavior, child psychology experts from public institutions indicated her actions were to draw her mother's attention to herself. They acknowledged that she had a form of harmful emotional trauma and declared that she needed counseling and therapy from professionals. They didn't know whether that the therapy had healed the wounds in her heart. Satoko-chan purposely hurt herself and told them that he was being abused by her stepfather in an attempt to chase him out. But in the end, her stepfather did abuse her, right? No. All of the abuse had been made up by Satoko-chan. Her stepfather, of course, may have scolded her in a somewhat emotional way, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Satoko had lied to chase away her stepfather, and they saw through her right away and found out. Oh boy. I accidentally clicked out of the game. Oh my god, the world's ending. Okay. Oh. Could it be that's why? The winter before last, they decided to wait and see? Yes. The Child Consultation Center had all their past records, so they needed to act carefully, in case she was lying. What the hell? So what? Satoko might be telling a lie, and so they needed to be careful? So how does that mean they just end up waiting and seeing? It was the girl who cried wolf. That fable about telling a lie once, making others unwilling to believe you later. That's bullshit. The past has nothing to do with this, does it? Only what's really happening right now is important. Satoko's being abused by her uncle. Why is something that happened in the past getting in the way of helping her now? Neither Sensei nor Rika-chan had anything to say to that. Anyway, yesterday a probation officer visited and carefully determined what was going on. And Satoko dealt with them, put on her best, strongest smile she could manage, and denied the abuse. Of course, she was probably being threatened to keep quiet about it by her uncle. Satoko was trying to outlast everything without asking for help. Satoko wanted to wait for Satoshi to come back home, and she outright denied the truth of the abuse. What an idiot. What? You're not really enduring it. You really think pretending like this will actually bring Satoshi back? Just stop already. Satoshi, he abandoned you. And the fact that he hasn't shown up to save you now is proof, isn't it? So just drop it. Please stop being weird and pretending to endure it. Forget everything we just said. Understand? If you tell anyone else, your teacher will be very mad with you. Chie-sensei gave me a warning and then left to go back to the teacher's lounge. Keiichi, please don't think Satoko is a problematic, pitiful girl. She's living life. I know that. She's our irreplaceable friend. Satoko is still trying her best. Let's watch over her a little longer. The person from the consultation center said they'd visit periodically from now on. If something terrible happens, they'll help her right away. Yeah, but only after it happens. Any more than that would have sounded like I was picking a fight, so I firmly swallowed my next words and went back to the classroom. Mion and Reina were talking to Sakoko like they always did. It was a silly conversation, a humorous, even fun one, like it was any old day. If Satoko really said she could still endure it, then maybe I should do as Rika-chan said and watch over her. Maybe whatever help I offer will just go unwanted. Yay, what a fun chapter.
Okay, why don't we all have lunch? Me. It's been a while since we've all 5 of us like this. This is really how it has to be.
Here, here. Come on, you too, Kei-chan. Bring your desk over. Satoko brought her own desk over as well, grinning broadly. Even knowing nothing had been resolved, this exchange was pleasant. It made me remember how fun it used to be.
I can't have Rika making a bento for me forever.
I don't mind. I have fun making your bento. Rika-chan's such a good girl. Having such a good friend must be so reassuring. I put in a big steak, and Satoko puts in the burn stuff. So, if it was just Satoko, it would be so sad. So very, very sad. Nippa! I take it back. Well, she is Rika-chan after all.
Hey, come on, look. I've got an omelet rice today. Mushrooms and stuff are so delicious. Delicious, how?
You can and you will accept the little gremlin.
I say it every time, but your craftsmanship is splendid. You can become a wife whenever and not have a problem.
Wife? Eating a wife?
Oh!
Using the word wife is totally forbidden around Reina. Please don't say it again.
I'll think about what I've done a little.
By the way, where's your lunch, Mion? Looks different again today. We're all waiting in anticipation. It's a rich assortment of side dishes left over from my uncle brought in last night. The stew looks really great though, huh? The color of the radishes too is really good, right?
Wow, it looks delicious.
Stew tastes best when it's left overnight. This looks like it would be really good. Did you mention my waifu? Exactly. She's like, I am the waifu, or I want a waifu. Either way. I'll eat it all and tell you what I think, so just be quiet and watch.
What was that? Hand over my portion too. At close range like this, my advantage is unwavering. Keiichi-san, the daikon in your portion tastes really good.
Damn it, coming right from me from the start using a combo attack? How humiliating. This little exchange, how long had it been? It looked like they'd ended up going with the wait-and-see approach, and maybe her uncle had realized he'd gone a little too far and would dial it back now. If her treatment improved a little, would that be a good thing? Satoko was grinning wider than I'd ever seen as she chomped down on her mouthful of daikon she'd plundered from me. Did it really taste that good? Satoko was somewhat of a cute girl. Cute like that. And just as I'd done many times, I grabbed her by the head and started petting it. Catch! Huh?
Toko-chan!
It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. The back of my hand was stinging. I went to pet Satoko's head and then she hit my hand? What's wrong, Satoko? Satoko was scratching at her head, as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and become itchy. It was so sudden, so unprovoked, that I didn't understand what had happened. What's wrong, Satoko? At some point, her body had been covered in a thin layer of sweat, and her breathing had turned ragged. When I pet her head, did she not like it? Was that what it meant? Hey, did you dislike being petted? Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Satoko's head. The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, there was a shock like static electricity, and Satoko began to howl. She grabbed my arm with both hands, as if she'd fling off a snake trying to cling to her. As if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. It happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me, and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom fell deathly silent. As Satoko bellowed, it sounded like she was in the throes of death. It was steadily backed away. Then, she threw up the food she had just eaten. She vomited it all back up. The sound of Satoko's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom. Are you okay, Satoko? You seem sick. Crying noises. I reached out a hand, and she swatted it away with all her might. With such extreme strength that I fell again to the floor. Satoko put both her hands on her head, as though protecting it, groaning more, and took a few steps back. And then she began swinging both hands around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach, bento boxes, chairs, and threw them, tossed them, and flung them about. Wait, stop it, Satoko. What's wrong with you? I don't know how to scream good without hurting everyone's ears, so I'm so sorry I can't really voice act these lines. She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Satoko alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, there were desks and chairs all over the floor. A bento lay scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Satoko's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas.
I'm sorry.
The strings of tension loosened around Satoko. And maybe she suddenly grew scared of her own actions because she was starting to tremble and gave a word of apology. Keiichi couldn't take a hint and stop trying to pat her head, right? But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So for now I decided to answer as everyone's representative. No, it's fine. Are you okay?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Our words didn't match each other at all. Satoko hugged her shoulders, and back she went. Bang. She ran into the locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused a bucket to top the locker to fall, making a loud noise, and that scared Satoko most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtains in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Satoko, what on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Satoko. What happened?
I said, I don't know. You're wrong. Please stop. Please forgive me.
Just calm down. Satoko, do you know who I am?
No more. I hate this.
Every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried. Satoko, it's me. It's Keiichi. Don't you recognize me? I would never ever hurt you.
No!
Come on, calm down. It's all right. I'm your friend.
Help. Help me. I don't want to be scared.
It feels bad. No, I don't. Suddenly my shoulders were grabbed and I was dragged backwards. It was Reina.
Sorry, Keiichi-kun.
You can get a little further back. After pulling me back, she ran towards Satoko in my place.
It's okay, Satoko-chan. There's nothing to be scared of. Please, don't worry.
No more.
No more of that. Nini. Nini. Help me. Help me. Nini, help me.
As she gripped the curtains, she kept calling for her Nini. She continued to wail about being forgiven for something, and to be saved from something. What is this? Mio gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes. The hell? What is this? Didn't this all come to an end yesterday? Weren't we supposed to go back to our old lives? Mion! Crash. There was a crazy sound. Reina had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Everyone stood surprised as Reina's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Reina embraced bawling Satoko from behind and started crying with her stifling. Reina, what's wrong?
Sorry. Keiichi-kun, be quiet for a minute.
What is it now? What happened? What did Satoko tell you? What did you hear? Shut the hell up! I told you to shut your mouth, asshole. Reina's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. It was more than a momentary howl of emotion for Reina, but it was more than that for me. What was behind all that emotion? What was in her heart?
Oh, Satoko-chan. No more. No more.
Forgive us. We couldn't do anything for you. Forgive us. Didn't this come to an end yesterday? Oh, Keiichi, you naive child.
Nini.
I'm sorry. Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Reina's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with gray, and the world had lost its color. I thought we could save Satoko. But though I knew it'd be sooner than the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that it would be too late. I'd been making a huge mistake. I thought Satoko could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is absolutely absurd. We needed to save Satoko. We needed to save her before she broke. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? That went without saying. Mine. No. Ours. We all took on the duty of saving Satoko, but we were all negligent in the point of laziness. In that sense, this was an inevitable result. Even if this didn't happen today, and it happened tomorrow, or the day after, or the next week, we would all just be sitting around nothing until that day. So this was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees, just as Mion and Rika-chan had done, and I too closed my eyes tight and couldn't stop myself from sobbing. What is all this noise about? What's happened? The teacher came and her face was screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she'd realized the teacher was here, Satoko went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains, and like nothing had happened, she smiled. Hojo-san, what on earth is going on here?
I just got into a little squabble with Reina-san, that's all. We went a little crazy over our lunches, right?
Reina didn't nod in reply, but then, since Satoko wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. We all just stared in a daze. We still have a few more chapters, Keiichi.
It was just a little horseplay. I scared everyone out of their wits.
Satoko would probably sweep the whole thing under the rug. And for what? Her heart is torn to pieces, so what else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi doesn't ever intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. So you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry and beg for help, and you can run away. We can't do anything, Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, those few words that had been tormenting us countless times. Those words were like a spell when I heard them. My whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave of departing. And then the world's color flipped inside out. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold. I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At that time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small, petty vessel of my head, but floating in the air a little bit above. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free from the cramped confines of my skull as I stretched my roots in all directions as far as I wanted. It was a strange feeling, and one I'd never felt ever before. An odd sense of exhilaration. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend. My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed by grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to the action. You curse it all you want. Curse our powerlessness as much as you want. Huh? If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I would have cried all day. But the fact was that with how things had turned out, I couldn't take back what happened. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I'd been looking at things so narrow-mindedly I could scarce believe it. To save Satoko. The only thing to do was to save Satoko. That's the only thing I thought about it. I didn't allow myself to realize the most basic, direct, and certain way of removing the source of Satoko's unhappiness. No. Actually, I'd realized it yesterday. But as for the means, I'd relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity. I'd never considered carrying out the task myself. I would obliterate Satoko's uncle. There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Satoko required mostly money. But the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was the weight of his life. I kept emulating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with only the knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I killed him didn't matter. I would allow my method from whatever time and whatever country as long as I ended up quick and a certain death. If I were to have an additional condition, it would be to not get caught. Removing him from the act designed to return to the peaceful times we had with Satoko. If I had arrested in exchange for their removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we'd go back to our normal lives. That was the supreme objective, my ultimate goal. Kill him, definitely. But definitely didn't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with each other. The condition of not leaving a trace back of me automatically narrowed the number of murder methods. No witnesses was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there would be nobody around. Keiichi's snapping, big brain time, the insanity phase, Joker phase. Oh no, oh boy, Keiichi calmed down. Yo, Keiichi's ramping up. Hell yeah. It's official, boys. Keiichi's ODing on that copium. Oh my. Oh my. I mean, is he wrong though? He was asking for the uncle to get murdered like yesterday. He's just finally, he hit that epiphany of, I could just kill him. I mentally reconstructed the land around Satoko's house. The number of pedestrians different at different times. The movement of algorithm of the neighbors. Would I lure them out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where would I carry this out? Where? It needed to be somewhere I wouldn't leave a trace. When? It needed to be as soon as possible for the Sotoko's safety without wasting even a millisecond. It's only wrong if you get caught. Exactly, bro. Exactly. It's not illegal till you're arrested. This is absurd. Completely absurd. Yeah, the real copium was him saying, yeah, after this, after I murder her uncle, then everything will go back to normal. Yeah. When I thought about it this way, it struck me how easily the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if it was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer. But our reason prevented that. It told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by the police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. Absurd. If you went all the way out in the very middle of the ocean, and you wouldn't leave any trace at all, anyone would drop those and hate it into the depths if they knew that. It's exactly that meme of, what if there is two guys on the moon, and one guy killed the other guy? That would be pretty fucked up, wouldn't it? Finally, this game's getting good. This is the last chapter. No. Oh boy. Oh no, 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 no. This is like slightly over halfway through the book. We got a ways to go. It was all too easy and too simple to remove him. I could leave class right now, grab a metal baseball bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Estimated time would be 25 minutes. If I wanted to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1,500 seconds. I knew just how much this continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within 1,500 seconds after making up my mind. From when I decided what to do, he only had 1,500 seconds. Actually, if I ran full speed to his house, that number would go down even further. But he was alive. He was still part of this world at this very moment, having torn Satoko's body and mind to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1,500 seconds. You think I'd let him breathe even 1,500 more seconds of air? I'm taking that permission back, right here, right now. You better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually need more than 1,500 seconds. I'm not just gonna end you. Getting back our old lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting from this world. They won't find the culprit. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands on the likes of you as naturally as I brushed my teeth before bed. So to do that, I'll make a special exception for you and give you more than 1,500 seconds. I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I construct the perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Keiichi. You can't let that time go to waste. Yeah, I know. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him from certainty. I won't misuse any time and think of a plan. Think back. Tomorrow's Watsunagashi, isn't it? Last year on the night of Watsunagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant and her brains splattered everywhere. That's it. He's someone who deserves to be given a death on the night of Watsunagashi. Hey, Oyashiro-sama. You call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Satoko. Cursing Satoko's family for the damn stuff is your own business. But now you've made Satoko unhappy, when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Keiichi Maibara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, a failure. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. Besides, if you had just cursed and killed both her aunt and her uncle last year, none of this would have ever happened. The curse this year, it's not on you. I'll be the one deciding. It won't be the three families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes, no. Not some vague people who you can't tell they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way, and just watch. Stay quiet, and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of this earth. I will stomp out his very existence. Go away, disappear and die. I'll tear your heart apart, just like you did to Satoko. I'll have your blood as payment.
Keiichi-kun, are you okay?
Reina, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor?
You surprised us. You suddenly fell down.
Oh, Mr. Edgelord, holy shit. Keiichi's been taking notes from Kratos. Oh, now he's become the agent of Yashiro-sama. Yeah, you like a Joker face. Yeah.
Were you having a nightmare? You were moaning.
Shut it. Quit squeaking like that. My friends gave a start and backed away. What? Reina and the others, they exchanged glances, unsure of what to say, and stood confused for a few moments.
Was that your voice, Keiichi-kun?
Of course it was. Reina gulped firmly and opened her mouth.
For a second, Keiichi-kun, your eyes were really scary.
My eyes? Probably just a trick of the light. Don't waste any of my time. I'm not mistaken. I've never seen those kind of eyes before. What were these guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately.
You are Keiichi Maibara, right?
What was Reina saying? Who else do I look like except for Keiichi Maibara? The look I gave her seemed to squeak a little, quite eloquently in those irritated thoughts. Yeah, finally Keiichi got some balls! She understood and quickly apologized.
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
What a chapter, huh? What a chapter. The achievement for this one is called 1,500 seconds. You have reached an epiphany. Oh my god. But yeah. No, it ended there. Yeah, it ended there. Tomorrow night is Watanagashi, and Keiichi has decided that it's easier to just kill the fucker. How fun is that? Usually Keiichi's paranoid that he's gonna get murdered, but this time, he's the murderer. Or is he? I guess we haven't seen him kill anybody yet. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't. But yeah, dude, see? This book is really good. There's a reason this is like my favorite arc. Ah, it's so good. Keiichi finally was like, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? Let's go! Woo! That's what we've been waiting for! Yeah!
Pachi, pachi, pachi.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty hyped. I am pretty hyped, bro. Noise, noise, noise. Booma channeled 100% gremlin for this chapter. Thank you. I try really hard. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, Keiichi actually grows the balls and decides to take action with his own hands. Right? It's like one of those, will he murder or will he not murder? Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z, episode whatever. Keiichi kills a man. Yes. Super excited that we are finally getting into the thick of it. The meat of this of this book, I should say. Because like last book, there was a lot of fill-in. And there wasn't a lot of substance until the last few chapters. But this one, some good shit. Oh, and then real quick, tomorrow I have it scheduled. We're doing a kind of sort of art stream. It's another sketchbook tour. Next time, Keiichi finally stops waiting for other people to fix the problem. Yeah. We got the sketchbook tour tomorrow, right? And then, so Friday I have scheduled Genshin Impact. Here's the thing. I'm going to warn you guys now, because you guys are the ones who show up the most for streams. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. But I'm warning you also in stream in case I have to change the schedule again. I have a bunch of like personal stuff going on this weekend, and I might need to have Friday off too. I scheduled Genshin on the schedule just because I think I'll be able to stream, but I'm not for sure yet. So that's why I haven't made the waiting room yet. So, if all of a sudden there's no stream on Friday, don't panic. I will definitely try and like put out, into Twitter and into YouTube community tabs that there is no Friday stream. Again, I'm sorry. I really, really hate doing that. That's something that like I try as like someone who's trying to become a content creator, right? Like full time. And try and do this more often. Like it's just like I really, really hate it when I have to like go back on my plans or like have to cancel a stream out of nowhere. It makes me feel like dog shit. So I'm really sorry. Yeah. Take care of yourself, no problem. It's fine, take care of yourself. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's nothing serious. It's just like, damn, fuck. So yeah, there's no Elden Ring on Saturday. I know that I'm gonna need to be off for that one, but Friday I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna need to like be there that night or if like I'll be able to be here. Things happen, don't worry about it. Yeah, but I just feel like it's been happening a lot. Like I had to cancel last Monday's stream, and then this one, like I had such a bad migraine I almost canceled it too, but I feel okay. I'm okay. We'll let Risu know. Yeah, I think Risu, for the most part, is lurking in all these streams. He's Risuing, I'm sure he'll see it on Twitter or something. He seems pretty active there. Makes me feel like a dog. Yeah, but thank you for understanding. And if I don't get to stream on Friday, I'm sorry. Tomorrow, for sure, we're still a go, though. Sketchbook tour. I finished my other sketchbook like a couple weeks ago, so wouldn't be surprised if he's napping. It's true. Somehow my gremlin-y voice puts him to sleep. I don't know if that's good or bad thing. I mean, I'm glad it's a good thing for him. Yup. But yeah. So, sketchbook tour tomorrow. The last one was super fun. I'm excited for this one. Yeah. That's all the kind I wanted to talk about here at the end real quick. I'm gonna go play Genshin Impact. Because I'm obsessed now. Thanks, Ryusu, for showing me how to get my account working again. Alright. But yes, guys, thank you so much for hanging out for this chapter of Higurashi Tatarigoroshi. If I don't see you in the next stream, I'll see you when you see you. You have a good evening, good night, and goodbye.